Seriously, you knew I was going to do a montage of just the owies. So, here's the montage of just the owies.
Owie! 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 Don't talk about my baby that way! Owie! 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 Owie!
My neck! It's broken!
So, that's game. Will you leave her alone now?
I'm just gonna tell him you're dead.
One day after coming home from a hard day of work, Nita, a higher-ranking Yakuza gang member, sits down to enjoy some wine. But sadly, this is not his day, as a girl in a mechanical egg is teleported to his room and lands on his head. Thinking he's seeing something, he goes to bed. But when he wakes up the next day, and she's still there, in the egg, he releases her. It turns out, this girl, Hina, has telepathic powers, and if she doesn't use them, she will end up destroying, well, everything. Nita's life will never be the same as he takes her in, and over time, they grow a bond, not unlike father and daughter. Hinamatsuri is based off the manga of the same name by Masao Otaki, released in 2010 and is still ongoing. The anime is produced by Studio Feel, who are known for My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu anime adaptation and Tsuki ga Kirei. It is directed by Kei Oikawa, who has worked on many projects like Armitage III and Hachimitsu to Clover, but has directed Uma Musume, My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu, and Minami Kei Betsubara. Didn't even know that was an anime, to be honest.
How many pills did I take today?
To say this series has been a smash hit in terms of its popularity would be an understatement. This is easily one of the best comedies, maybe the best comedy of the year right now. And the reason I believe is rather simple. Hinamatsuri's comedy is really adaptive to Western tastes and isn't your standard Japanese comedy. So what do I mean by this? Well, Japanese comedy is really strange, wacky, and loves to repeat points and beat that point into your head. Traditional Japanese comedy usually skips all of the build-up to their jokes and goes straight to the punchline. Of course, there are exceptions to this, and Hinamatsuri is one of those exceptions. And that's because it fuses a more Western-style comedy with Japanese comedy. Or, at the very least, a style of Japanese comedy that Western audiences can enjoy.
That's all you could come up with?
At last, I'm a woman fully bloomed.
Absolutely not.
Hinamatsuri has likely one of the best casts in my terrible memory. I'm not sure how long it's been since I've seen anime nail their cast of characters like this, but I do know that I love this series for it. Every single one of the characters are memorable and very well done. Take, for example, the titular character of the series, Hina, is likely one of the funniest, most likable characters in the series. She's a goofy girl who eats a lot and is super needy, which gets on people's nerves quite a bit. If you left her on her own, she'd probably die because she simply would not know what to do. But what she brings to the show is like a cohesive glue, keeping it all together. Sure, you could lose Anzo and Mao, but removing Hina is a no-no. As for Anzu, she is probably my favorite character of the season this anime aired in spring 2018, and it's pretty simple as to why that is. She's the character I relate to the most, as while I'm not homeless, I am struggling to make ends meet sometimes, and I work very hard to try and get by in life. I also come from a blue-collar family, and grew up on a farm, and because of that, just like Anzu, I understand the value of work, money, and the valuable relationships you accrue over the years. If there is one thing that Anzu is, she is the best character to Hinamatsuri, as she has the most depth and growth out of every one of them. Yoshifumi Nida is up next. And what more can you say about this guy? He spends most of the time in the show taking care of Hina and doesn't really develop all that much, because how can you develop someone from the Yakuza? You know the Yakuza are really bad. So the arc for him is simply focused on growing a family and trying to understand his awkward relationship with this coddled girl, Hina. He's not the best in this show, but the role he plays in this series is really well done and satisfying to see develop. Then we have the curious one, Mao, a character I won't spoil anything for, but I will say her placement is odd here. This anime is obviously one that will need a season 2, but if there is one thing that could be stated as a flaw, it's Mao. What we first see of her character is okay, and the last we see of her is rather awesome, but still, not much better than her first appearance. She has a cool personality to her though, and I think that a season 2 would easily solve the problem of this character. So for now, I'm going to strike out Mao, but I'm not going to write her off completely just yet.
Don't you have more of that jelly you're always eating? I'm tired of it. Okay, I'll make lunch then.
Remember when you'd watch an episode of your favorite anime, and at the end it would try to teach you a life lesson? It may have not been the best life lesson, and I'm not one to get my philosophy or life pro tips from anime I watch. Sorry, Nasu. But it's always nice to see an anime, or any kind of media, have something like that in there. This is one of the reasons why I loved Agretsuko so much. It may have not been the best anime ever, but at times it would give you very basic life lessons that everyone could relate to. While I enjoyed that in Agretsuko, I can acknowledge some of it fell flat. But Hinamatsuri does their kind of pseudo-life lessons in a unique and interesting way that is subtle, but not so non-existent you don't notice it. As an example, Anzu's whole character arc is pretty much one big life lesson. She runs into a bunch of homeless people and basically by the end learns what a hard day's work means and why that is so valuable to, well, people. Another one is the important value of family and why you should always cherish the people close to you. Now obviously they're not overly ambitious topics to explore, but this anime's execution of those topics are exceptional and should be noticed.
Oh well. Hina, get ready for a butt kicking!
How come?
Orders from the top. I have to dispose of you. Now time to bring on the pain.
When it comes to comedy anime, the standard drill is to have bright, colorful backgrounds and characters. This anime continues that trend, and with the talent of Studio Feel behind it, you just know it's going to visually look very good. And the most identifying feature of the art, character designs, are exceptional. Hina, Anzu, Mao, and Nita are all great designs that fit their characters. Hina has a big round face and wears sweats around the house to represent her lazy personality. Anzu is blonde and has a ponytail which makes her stand out from that perspective. But she also wears the clothes of a gang member she stole them from. This design is my favorite for this season, and as well, I love how baggy and colorful those clothes are too. Mal, on the other hand, is a mixed bag. For a while, she is just clothed in, well, plants. But later on in the anime, she is outfitted in a Buddha outfit that looks quite exceptional. And of course, we're going to discuss the backgrounds, which are also good. An example is the shacks that Anzu lives in for a while. They all are made of a mixture of different materials, and they don't look similar to each other because of that. Also, Nita's house, which is filled with different knickknacks and doodles because Hina keeps breaking them all the time. So it helps the backgrounds are so dynamic because of these small details in the story, and the writing calls for such a thing like this, so why not? And that is why the art of Hinamatsuri is so good. It pays attention to those details.
There's a rumor going around. Word has it you're trying to spend more quality time with your daughter.
So you've sworn off philandering forever.
Aww.
What?
In the first scene of this series, we see Mao fighting off her opponents in a really well animated and choreographed fight. It reminded me of old Bruce Lee films, and I loved it. So of course, I expected more fighting. Honestly, there isn't that much in this anime. But that being said, the animation is still exceptional. Scenes where Hina shows off her powers is an example of that. Seeing electric sparks flying and how her hair moves because of that, well, it's really well done. This anime is dynamic, and so is its animation. And I could give you more examples, but that would be spoiling this awesome series, and I don't want to spoil it. So Hinamatsuri has good animation. Just know that. The opening and endings for Hinamatsuri are super catchy and are very good. The animation for the opening is also up to standards of the rest of the series and isn't just flashy animation that doesn't match the show at all. As for the ending, it's rather simple and the song to accompany it is really catchy and memorable. As for the music in the episodes, it's good. Something expected from Yasuhiro Misawa, who has worked on Yuru Yuri, Gabriel Dropout, and Umaru-chan. But other than the music, it's, pretty good, meaningful, and adds a lot of emotional depth to the series when it's needed. The dub for this anime is one of those that I think is better to watch dub, and the reason for this is because the comedy having a more Western sensibility to it. I watched about 4 episodes of this subbed, and when I switched over to the dub to see if it was good, I re-watched those 4 episodes in English. Even better is that a lot of these voices aren't just the same voices you've heard from Funimation over and over. They're new voices that you've never heard before, and they're really damn good. So if you prefer dubs, check this one out.
She really is the world's top practitioner of Naikaken.
Care to surrender?
Hinamatsuri can be best described by simply this. It's the wild card anime, the dark horse, the one you never expected to do anything, then it went and did it. It went above and beyond. From the realistic depiction of the homeless, which comes out of literally nowhere, something you would never expect in an anime, to the random antics of Hina doing backflips hovering in the air during a serious conversation. Even the life lessons we get from this anime, and the character Yoshifumi Nida learning the value of family and friends. This anime is a complete package of comedy, life lessons, good writing, good action, and wraps it all into a package that has a million more things packed in there with it. This series is dynamic and easily anime of the year contender. If you haven't watched Hinamatsuri yet, what the hell are you doing? This anime is a must-see for any fans of, well, anime or good shows, casual or hardcore. So go check it out. With that being said, did you agree with my opinions on Hinamatsuri? If you did or didn't, please put down the comments and give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Also remember to join the Discord, links in the description, and as well, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a review from me or any other video. So, I want to say thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next review. Bye-bye!